Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. Now we are 1 hour into the qualifiers, so we had some runs before this. Among them, Moonfire with a time of 153.115. He was driving a McLaren 570S. The first guy to come in the server was Zul Bahrain with a time of 153.173. Currently, we are watching Azrin Zulbahrin. I think he messed up a bit there. With he managed a time of 155.17. So right now we have Rizal Azmi on track. Let's see how he does. Best time for today is clocked by Leong Moon Fai with a 153.12.
Hey guys. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How you guys doing out there? Anyways, do leave a comment down below. Unfortunately, I was doing race car stuff earlier on, so I was unable to join you guys in the first 2 hours, but we will be able to fix that around the qualifying session 2 and session 3. So do stay tuned for those up ahead. 18 drivers have made laps around the track, and as we head into the final 40 minutes of qualifying, we will just have a quick recap of the top 10 results. Jasmine Jolly is in first place with Saiful Arifin in second. Iman Danish is in third place with Nigel Chua in fourth. Afiq Fadlan's in fifth with Zikri in sixth. Azam in seventh place, and Munfai in eighth with Nabil in ninth and Azman in 10th. It looks like the top 7 is taken over by the Porsches. A lot of drivers preferring the Porsches over the McLarens and the BMWs this evening, but it looks like it's going to be relatively tight. In any case, only 2 drivers, however, in with a 1 minute 50-second lap time. Now, if you recall from the fun race we had the previous week, during the weekend, I did offer the first person to break the 1 minute 50-second barrier a free meal at KFC. So let's see if they will be able to pull that off. It'll be quite interesting to see if they can actually do it. It is possible. My data, my analytics, and a lot of learned opinion says that it is quite possible that we'll find the drivers go into the 149s and even into the 148s with the rumors have it. So it'll be quite interesting indeed. Now, having a quick catch up back with the comments there. Afiq Fadlan said, "Nice drift there, Nigel. It was indeed a very nice bit of car control. Great skill to regain control of the car, absolutely." Jasrin, Afiq also says that Jasrin is so in control right now. Exactly 1 second faster than Iman. The bar has definitely been raised, and I think we're going to see the bar being raised not only through Q1, but through Q2 and Q3 as well. Absolutely amazing stuff out there on the course. And also a few more other ones. Again, one says, "Let's go rookies." And I think also just having a nice little message to all the drivers out there. Good luck to all. Absolutely. And again, Juan there just saying, after Dan can withdraw, right? Yeah, absolutely. So right now we're watching Pagvinder Singh, aka Roy Charles of Simba Garage, making his laps out there. I believe it's 4 lap qualifying sessions. So the drivers each have 4 laps, 4 timed laps, in order to try and get their time as low as possible. Pagvinder there, he's in 9th place. You want to join that gaggle of Porsches up at the top of the leaderboard there. Really pushing that car very hard indeed. Ceremonious there from Afiq. "I did a small mistake getting out of Variante Alta. That was enough to win my fast lap." Ooh, so close. Luckily, I think you will be able to try again in session 2 and session 3, and you can even change cars if you believe that you might not be driving the right type or model of car. That is something we're trying out this time around with the qualifying sessions. So if any of the drivers out there would like to try different cars, this will be the time to do it before they lock down their choices before the start of this season. But it'll be interesting to see what the drivers can do in the McLaren and the BMWs. Theoretically, they should have a very good balance of performance, but of course, with the margins being so razor thin and with the Porsche having such a long history of being used in top level GT4 racing, it could be quite hard to beat. I could definitely see a lot of the quick drivers going very quickly in the Porsches indeed. But we will be keeping track of the drivers in the BMWs and in the McLarens as well, just to try and keep all of the guys in with a shout. We will be keeping tabs on them across the season, and it'll be interesting to see how well the McLaren and Porsche drivers do over the course of the season. I personally more of a McLaren fan, but I'm not that fast. I will be the first to admit that I'm not the fastest man out there on track. So perhaps the aliens can just squeeze a little bit extra out of that Porsche, and perhaps it just suits the Asian style of driving, very aggressive into the corners, very, very quick and smooth from that point onwards. So, very interesting stuff. Do leave a comment down below and let us know what your favorite looking GT4 car is out there. It'll be quite interesting to see. I think the McLaren looks like $1 million. It looks like a GT3 car from 5 years ago, so it looks really, really good there. But do let us know down in the comments. Now we see Saiful Arifin is out there. He's up into second place. And as we know, as I was saying in the previous season, Jesrin Jali not the quickest driver in the MX-5 cars, but I know for a fact he's very, very quick in the GT3 and the GTE car. He should be able to translate that performance into results in the GT4 category. And I also hear that he's a big, big fan of Porsches. He's done quite a bit of driving in the roof as well in GT3, so it'd be very interesting to see how he does in this championship. But for now, let's watch Saiful Arifin go for his run around the track there. He's in second place still. Let's see if he can improve his time. He might not be able to do it this lap, though. 3 yellow sectors there. Akid Basaro is improving on his first 2 sectors there, but it does look to me like he's on an out lap there. 6 minutes definitely seems to suggest that he is on an out lap. Special thanks goes out to all our partners, our racing partner TKKR, as well as our event partners Magpie and our media partner Gallery Creator, as well as our sponsors XOX Mobile and One XOX. Thank you very much. All of us at Adrenaline Impacted Vertic Esports will thank you all for supporting sim racing here in Malaysia and throughout Asia as well. We'll hopefully be able to see some international drivers bolster the field as well. It'll be very interesting to see in the XOX Unity League how the local drivers sort of compete with the internationals. And it's really great to have them in there to try and bring the standard of driving just that little bit higher. Very smooth there through the Villeneuve curves. Coming to Dosa, which is the tight left-hander right through there. And up ahead here is one of the 2 very difficult corners on the track, and the road turns towards the right, and everything seems to suggest that the car is going to go hard right, but in fact, just as you go over the crest, you're into the braking zone there to turn hard left as you head on your way towards Acro Minerali, literally meaning mineral water, one of the famous corners at Imola. It's been restored back to its original geometry. It used to be a chicane, but now it's much faster and much more like it used to be back in the 70s and 80s. So it's nice to see Acqua Minerali back to where it is. Very polarizing corner, however, as well as here, Variante Alta, very, very difficult to try and get right. You have to almost jump the car in order to try and get a fast lap there. Seifel there, pretty much on the nose in the Porsche. Just a little bit of oversteer on the way out there, but hopefully he would have kept that wheel spin under control. Even though it's a mid-engine car, the Porsche Cayman here, the 718 Cayman GT4 car, very, very controllable on traction. The hallmark of every Porsche since the Porsche 911. These Porsches have very good rear-end traction. Let's see if he can improve his lap time. He's not quite able to do so, but he should be able to build that speed up and build that tire temperature up in order to try and bring the speed up through the course of the lap. It looks like through Tosa. Saiforifin just a little bit slower again through the first two sectors there, but he's still got time to try and build up. By my clock, he's still within shouting range of trying to get up towards the front there. He's still in second place, but Jazzy Jali, amazing lap. He almost gets the free fried chicken there. 150.084 there for Jasmine Jali. That is the time to beat right now. As you can see at the top of the chat box, we'll be keeping a track of that for you guys out there. But it looks like it's going to be very, very interesting stuff indeed on the out there. There's a little bit more of a spread as you'd expect from a multi-car category. There is a bit more of a spread in time there, but I'm pretty sure as we head towards the final qualifying session, that spread might just close up a little bit. And it looks like we're on board with Nazmi Mazli right now as he's heading on the track. He's got 2 green sectors. That means he has a personal best. Saiful Arifin has just made a personal best in the 4th sector. We've split this track into 5 sectors to better try and look for that. Looks like he made a mistake, however, at the end of that lap, and it's a 154 for Saiful Arifin. Nazmi Mazli, however, he is improving on his lap time. It's 3 green sectors. So the color coding on the bottom of those times there you see at the bottom of the screen there, green means personal best, yellow means normal ordinary lap, not personal best. And if it's purple, that is the key. That means he went fastest of all through the course of that sector. It'll be very interesting indeed to see how that goes on. And it looks like we have Miko Nasi on track with Jasri Junos. So this could be very interesting indeed. Jasri Junos, another very, very quick driver out there in GT cars. He didn't quite manage to show his pace in the other series, but it'll be quite interesting to see what he could do in the BMW. He's decided to go out in the BMW with a beautiful Pico Studios. Pico doing a fantastic job with all the liveries this season. As a great liveries man. So do check out Pico Media and really check out all the work that they do in liveries. You can actually, if you're into iRacing and you do race in the platform, do sort of check out Pico Media's liveries because it looks really, really nice. Afik Fadlan there saying, "Hi, Pico." Absolutely fantastic to have the previous season's champion out there driving that old black Porsche Cayman. It looks like he's going to be really putting his foot down hard in order to try and get that car as high up the leaderboard. It could be that I'll be having to send that coupon for a free chicken over to Miku Nasi's place in Singapore there. So that would be quite interesting to see how we get that. Try and see how we get that free chicken over down to Singapore. So looks like Miko will cross the line and begin his lap. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out here now. Again, hard braking throughout the entry into the Senna SE on Tamburello. Very, very difficult braking zone there because you have to turn the car just a little bit whilst braking in order to get that perfect line. Now coming up to Villeneuve, very, very tricky. Again, you have to try and keep the speed going through here, even if you're driving a very powerful car. Like these cars are quite powerful indeed. You really do have to pick your way through the corner and really try and keep the momentum up, regardless of what type of car you go through there. He's going around Tosa there. He's not worried about the apex there because the road actually rises as it goes towards the apex. So you'll probably see a lot of drivers actually take a wider line to try and keep the speed up as they go through on their way towards this left-hander. Again, tight on the apex, coming out around the exit there. Now coming down towards the bottom of the hill, hitting the braking point there just perfectly as he pitches it to the first of the 2 apexes at Aqua Minerali. Then it's Variante Alta up ahead here. A trick with this corner is that it's absolutely blind coming towards the apex there. So just as you come over the crest there, you have to be already on the brakes and setting the car up for this entry. Bounce the car over the curves. That's the only way to get a quick lap around here. So it really is a bit rough and tumble as you go through that corner there. Now it's absolutely flat out coming into the last 2 corners. The last two real corners of the lap here. Hard on the brakes. You have to watch yourself coming onto the entry. You could find yourself with a bit of understeer or oversteer there, so you really have to juggle the car going through the corner there before heading towards the exit. Now coming towards the final corner of the lap there, absolutely flat out through this section. There used to be a chicane at the bottom of the hill here, but there isn't anymore. Now we're going across the line. Let's see what Miko is able to do there. It's only 155, so perhaps he's still warming the tires up there. We know there's a lot more pace to come from Miko in a GT car, and it'll be interesting to see what he can do there. Comment there from Alif Lam Mim, one of our competitors. If you're a fan watching right now, don't be shy. You can ask a question or leave a comment down below for your favorite drivers as we watch them qualify and get themselves into their respective categories. So I'm not too sure what Alif was driving. I'm just trying to look through the list there. Hopefully he'll be able to fix that issue. But luckily they don't have to choose their cars right now. They can try and attempt to get a quicker car, or a car that at least handles the way they want to handle as you go through the course of the race there. But now Miko again going through this very, very tricky Aqua Minerali, slowing down the entire time going around the corner before coming up through the hill there. Mok TV says, come on, Padawan! Give a cheer back home, fans, if you really want to see Padawan succeed. They have worked very hard in the realm of sim racing, and I suspect that they will be due for some success fairly soon. Perhaps not in this series, but definitely very, very soon. Within this year, they're one of the hardest working teams we know of out there, and they definitely deserve a few kind words at least. And it looks like Miko is struggling just a little bit with the Porsche right now. He's only able to bring it up to 153, and he's missed the apex for Senna S there, so he's going to have a real challenge. I think he might have even had his lap invalidated over that particular incident. So he only really has one lap left to go. It'll be quite interesting to see how he can overcome this. Of course, he still has a chance in the following two sessions throughout the course of this week. We could be having plenty more of this to come. Meanwhile, speaking of the guys there, Faiz Aslan is now out on track. Let's check out his livery on that Porsche Cayman. Very strong Porsche Cayman contingent out this weekend, or sorry, this week rather. And it looks like he could be going very quickly indeed in that car. Jasper Jonas still unable to improve. Faiz Aslan has been able to improve on his lap time going through there. Nikodasi, unfortunately, his time won't count going through there, but he is improving in pace lap by lap. Akib Basurum also out there on track, so we have a lot of drivers out there trying to lay down a time and make sure that they at least have something to bank on should there be any issues further on down the line. And now we see in the McLaren, Lloyd Lachlan heading out on track there in the very old school McLaren livery there. That's the livery of Senna, that's the livery of Alain Prost, and also of Gerhard Berger. So a very, very nostalgic look back at McLaren's past, writ large across that car's surface. Absolutely fantastic stuff indeed, as the cars thunder through the scenery there. We're all sort of rooting for Lloyd Lachlan. He had a few bad luck moments throughout the course of the previous season, and hopefully his luck will turn for this season indeed. A crowd favorite. Lloyd Lachlan is absolutely brilliant stuff indeed. I cannot forget that time when he decided to be a text commentator during the course of the race. Absolutely brilliant stuff indeed. Afi Fadlan says, "Come on, Lloyd, definitely a favorite with the drivers there, and a real entertaining driver out there." Afi Fadlan also asks, "Where's Urshad right now at the moment?" Unfortunately, Urshad had a previous commitment to go to, and we had a slight issue in the recording studio, which means unfortunately the guys in the studio aren't able to speak. So you can imagine my surprise when I got the message to try and get back into the studio as quickly as possible, into my personal studio. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear me. Do leave a comment down below if you can actually hear me. But it all looks good in terms of the visual side as well. Hopefully you can hear the cars. I think iRacing did a fantastic job with the engine note on the cars right now. The Porsche and the McLaren in particular really do sound super, super accurate. So this, I believe, might be Miko's third or final attempt. Ooh, over the curb there. And he's gone off. He's gone off. That's going to be really, really tricky indeed for him to try and recover from that. Luckily, it is the first of 3 qualifying sessions. And if you guys out there watching the stream right now have iRacing and you have a D class license, do leave do let us know if you want to join the series. It's been absolutely fun going through the first series with XOX. Fantastic partners to be on board with. Really just as passionate about sim racing as we are. And I do believe I finally have a friend in the studio. Welcome, Kelvin T.
What is up, my brother from another mother? How are you faring today?
Awesome stuff indeed. Glad to have you on board there. Unfortunately, I was also quite late, and it appears that the guys weren't quite able to get the vocal tidings through to the fans down there. So we do apologize for that, but we're back to full strength, and hopefully we'll be able to guide you through there. Right now, Jasrin is the closest to taking my money and getting that free KFC. Because if you recall, at the previous weekend, I did say the first person to get down below a 1 minute 50-second lap time. And it looks like Ilham Hlabi, also another contender. The first person to get down that lap, down below that lap time, I was going to get them some free fried chicken.
Well, let's take a look at the table, shall we? I think both of them are so close, and it looks like we have Porsche Cup from P1 to P9 so far.
Absolutely, it looks like the general consensus is that the Porsche is the most well-rounded sort of car. A lot of people, I guess, just like the driving dynamics of the Porsche. A lot of them are familiar with the Carrera Cup. And as you know, even though the Cayman and Boxster platform, the 718 platform, is mid-engine, but it does share that classic Porsche trait of being a little bit tail-heavy and just a little bit more, how should we say, planted on the rear end, going through the corners there. So,
which also means that it's probably a little bit looser on braking, right? If I'm not wrong.
Absolutely, that's one thing that has impressed me a lot about all the sim racing drivers in Asia, is that one thing that we can never be accused of down here in Asia is being too timid on the brakes. We tend to be able to keep the car in a straight line in the brakes. Whether there's any obstacles ahead of us seems to be not seems to be another question entirely. But at least we managed to get the car stopped relatively in time most of the time.
Yep. That's entirely true. Yeah. So we see there, Lloyd Lachlan, fantastic lap with the McLarens, up there with the best of the Porsches. I must say that's a pretty fantastic lap from him, and he's not done, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, just looking at the timing sheets, I think Ilham is going for another strong lap as well, but perhaps not as strong as his first attempt. But really, really very consistent with the lap times. I mean, just I mean, looking at this and having driven a Cayman myself, I do think that these cars, once you push it, can be like what you said, a little bit tail happy under braking, So that's a phenomenon that we are not really used to, and I guess the drivers here have managed to master that quite well. P1 to P10 or Porsches.
Absolutely, indeed. And you always get this sort of thing with multi-class racing. That's sort of the inescapable part of it. It seems like to me that you always get that one brand that's dominant, not so much because they're the quickest or because they're outstanding in any sort of way, but you get this with GT3 right now with the dominance of Mercedes and GT3. And even Porsche came in doing quite well in GT4 in real life as well. It just seems to be that people just like that sort of car. There's something about the Porsche that just puts you at ease, even though, like you said, it is a bit tail happy sometimes, but perhaps that just adds to the appeal.
Yeah, I think it does. And a comment from Afar there, Afik Patlan. Hey, Gavin. Hey, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
Here's our text commentator.
We have a special thanks to Afik Fadlan for keeping it down despite not being near a mic tonight, letting the boys know, answering questions from the gallery, and really helping us out. So good job there, Afik. I'll probably get you some nuggets as well when I do that order, when we inevitably have a sub 150. I'm hoping it happens this time around.
And you know what? Just look at the timing sheets. P8, Afar, even though he said that a mistake cost him his lap, he's still P8. Oh man, that was one hell of a lap.
Absolutely. You'll see a lot of different drivers will actually be up at the sharp end of the field, and that's the beauty of changing the car categories around. I was just saying, Jezrin, he had his moments, Jezrin Jelly, throughout the course of the previous season, but he didn't seem to quite gel with five cars. But now that he's in his element of a GT car, you can really see him fly. And also Jezrin Jonas there doing quite well out there in the pack. Afik Fadlan doing great stuff indeed. Pagvinder Singh there. Lloyd Lachlan up very close to the top 10 there. He might be able to actually get that position there. But also you see a few surprising names further back. Malvinajan just a little bit further back than we'd expect. Charmuzi a little bit further back than that. Of course, they have time to work on their setups because, of course, this is open setup compared to last season. But also there's just plenty of time to practice before the final qualifying session where we lock down all the field for all three classes there. But it's quite interesting there. Interestingly enough, Mikko Nasi is still 14th out there in the field.
And just going back to the comments box again, Afar, just so happened I don't have a voice today, literally. Get well soon, brother. Or you know what? Maybe you just need a microphone, and maybe someone can sort you out with that.
Absolutely, we'll get you a lapel mic and I don't know, a nice T-shirt and maybe some background decorations. We'll put up I don't know, Max Verstappen cardboard cutout at the back there. Jazz the place up a bit.
Oh yes, definitely. Oh man, I just cannot wait. I mean, after all, this is session 1 out of 3, so this is, preliminary pole position goes to Jezrin Jali right now with the 150, 084, and that's so close to your KFC, man, Max. It's just so close.
So close. And
so close.
And to be fair, I can use the Malaysian app to send it over to him. I believe Jezrin is in... I can't remember if it's Jezrin or Jasri that's in Penang. Do leave us a comment down below if you happen to know, or if you are watching right now.
Or if you want chicken yourself. Let us know. Some finger licking good going your way.
You can want chicken, but you probably won't get it from me unless you could do a 149 and prove it to us before any of these guys can. Actually, that's a dangerous thing to say. Let me just rephrase that. If you could do a 149 in our qualifying sessions.
Agreed. And this is from me. The second guy to break the 149, chicken is on the way as well from me.
Ooh, so there's some extra added bonus there from those guys out there. Come on, let's see that 149.
Rat chicken, dinner plate.
Exactly. Terms and conditions apply. Just only set A, B, C, or D. I ain't that rich.
That is true. What?
Imagine me getting one of those like 70 ringgit buckets and stuff.
Man, let's see. All right, so we have Surin, and Surin's about to finish his lap, so let's see what's going on. I think he's locked in with a 130, 152 with the BMW, the top BMW so far. Well done, Surin.
Oh wow, that's really flying for a BMW driver. I know a lot of drivers actually like the BMW, but it is a very particular sort of driver. I do happen to know a certain Spaniard that loved the car
Yes.
previously, um, and he wasn't. And the funny part is, drivers that don't tend to do that well in a front-engine rear-wheel drive cars seem to like the BMW. I believe it's because the rear end of these cars is quite a bit more planted than in previous BMW race cars, but it still does have that sort of touring car heritage to it. So perhaps that's another aspect of it as well. But Surin, very well done there. 12th place, 152.6.9 is his fastest lap time. He might be able to challenge his fellow Hermanos.
Oh yes, Lloyd Lachlan and Surin Silverado, if I'm not wrong, this season racing under the banner Team Liberace Racing.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to that as well. And for those of you wondering why Team Liberace, well, if you know, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Oh man, cannot wait for the season to start. But just looking at this car is so beautiful. But if you just remember from the previous laps that we had here, compared to the other cars, this is a huge mammoth of a car, the BMW.
hmm I remember the memes when the M8 actually got on the scene at Le Mans, and there were some memes that were started by the Japanese where they superimposed like a double-sized or a triple-sized BMW on the rest of the cars, and this car reminds me of that meme. It's kind of funny. I'm pretty sure there'll be some Dale Earnhardt tactics of trying to intimidate guys out of the way in these BMWs. It's quite entertaining to watch.
And you know what? I think in this case, right, I cannot wait for a little bit later in the season where we have Detroit, right, Belle out in the track list.
Yeah.
This car is big and huge, right? The BMW is like a boat compared to the other two, and I foresee that it will be quite hard to pass on a street circuit like Belle Isle. So I mean, I cannot wait to see. Here's hoping that the guys can qualify this mammoth of a car in front on the top row, and then we should be able to see some interesting racing over there, because this car is big, especially for Belle Isle, which is a street circuit, rather small, not as small as Monaco, of course, but it still has like a very long straight. So we have these dive bombings and very close threshold breaking style things going on. I cannot wait to see. I mean, we need to discover which one of these drivers will be our Daniel Ricciardo for this series. Yeah.
Absolutely. And these cars have the grip that the MX-5 cars didn't quite have. So I suspect that we will actually probably see some of those moves, just like the moves Yuki Tsunoda. A bit of a shout out there to Yuki Tsunoda. Fantastic result for him. Brilliant watching that little clip that Formula One put on their official YouTube channel of him going around the inside, the outside, doing absolutely all the diving maneuvers there. I think we have another Daniel Ricciardo on our hands there. So,
yes. Asian, also from almost the same continent as well. Almost.
Well, we'll take the credit. He's Asian.
Yeah, cannot wait. I think it's a very good performance from Yuki Tsunoda. That was really good to watch. And as a Honda fan, I just cannot wait to see this. Oh, but speaking of Hondas, right, Max? I think like what we see here, there's like a lot of Porsches as well. We just want to give a shout out to all the Honda fans also, and Malaysian racing fans in general. I also cannot wait to see if we can finally restart racing this season, because I really, 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 really like the Honda FD2Rs on Sepang, and I think these cars are launched 13 years ago, and they're still running strong today at Sepang, despite having newer models, despite having other classes, despite having every other thing else, and 13 years of development. We still see the Honda FD2s at the top of the food chain in Sepang. I mean, just cannot wait to see racing happening again in Sepang. Yeah.
Absolutely, and it sounds like on the grapevine, I'm hearing there's all sorts of cool stuff coming up. We've been told in the Classica field that the racing should start up fairly soon. So all sorts of vehicles might be heading out to Sepang. And one of our competitors, Michael Hafiz, put on a fantastic little event there. So just want to shout him out as well. Toda Langga Sepang was a great event. Apparently, it was the second edition of that event, and it was great to see. Some of the sim racing guys were out there, and in fact, Ilham Hlabi had a chance at driving Azrael Nazli's famous Volvo 240 around the track. So hopefully, he had some fun pounding around the racetrack out there as well. Who knows? It might actually make him drive just that little bit quicker.
No doubt about it. Yes. Comment from afar. Earshot in. I bet he heard about that dinner plate. I'm sure. I am sure.
Come and get it.
Man, I'd like to do it myself too. The dinner plate offer is just too irresistible, man. Finger licking good.
Well, you got to work for it, but that just makes it taste a little bit. Oh, he's trying, ladies and gentlemen. He is trying. Tokoesha getting the car sideways out of the center S there. He is really after that chicken right now. Look at that stuff. Another couple of comments there. Go Surin. We have a surprise for you guys this season. That's from Lloyd Lachlan. I am on the edge of my seat. It's going to be legendary. I can't wait to see what they have in store for these guys. Absolutely brilliant stuff indeed. But that's spectacular driving there from Urshad, isn't it?
Totally. Committed is the word I use, yeah.
And I believe he's running that sim
The winning
racing.
livery.
Yes, exactly. I believe that was a Malaysian fellow that designed that won the global competition to feature that livery on the BMW. So props to him for local support there. And it's a brilliant livery.
Yeah, but you know what? In a way, it kind of blows that I thought that he would get a car.
Oh man, I was really rooting. I hoped he would have got even if he got a 1 Series or something, you know.
Yeah, that'd be cool, right? You know.
Yeah. But I guess the main thing is that he's recognized for his graphic design work, and it does look pretty cool. It fits that modern day BMW M aesthetic quite well. It looks just perfectly in place, whether it's at the front of a MotoGP field as the safety car or racing around on its own at the Nürburgring. So pretty cool stuff there indeed. Hopefully we'll actually see that on some more real life racing cars out there. I believe BMW have their own driver academy set up for sim racing, so it'd be interesting to see what comes out of that.
Yep, and as we look on the screen here, Fizul Jai, our champion for the last season in the MX-5s, he has just done a lap and also has hopped across the chicane over there to finish currently P14th in the Porsche with a 152.879. A good result for him, but I think he will be looking to better that lap, and I think he's pushing very hard to make sure that he's up there. But what do you think about these cars, Max? Do the tires go away after a lap, or do you think, I mean, the right thing to do is to warm it up? Because I think if we look at the Bahrain GP last week, sorry, my bad. People were actually going very slow on their outlaps in the soft tires before actually gunning it down the main straight to start their flying lap. I think. What do you think about these cars? Do they need to be broken in? They need to be roughed up, or basically brought up to speed gently before you gun it down?
I suspect it's going to be a little bit like the MX-5, but just a little bit less so. They've got more power and they've got a little bit more weight, so they really do work the tires a bit more. They can generate more G through the corner there. So perhaps a couple of warm-up laps, using the first-time lap as a bit of a warm-up as well, could be a wise choice. But of course, the key thing is you only really have 4 laps to try and nail this time down, so you can't really waste a lap, if you will. So you really do need to go at least a little bit quickly on your first lap, just to make sure that you have a safe banker lap once you head out and really start pushing the cars out. These cars are a little bit harder, so I would suspect the best lap would come around lap 3. If you're really good with tire management and you're not trying to push it too hard, you might be able to save it up for one last go at lap 4. It really depends on the driver's ability to try and manage the tires, because I think tire management is going to be very important this season, especially as we have pit stops.
Oh yes, I can't wait for that. I mean, this is going to add a totally new dimension to the racing, right? I mean, besides of being just a sprint race, we now actually have much more excitement in terms of strategy, in terms of potential the thrills and spills as a result of pit stops. Might shake things around. I just cannot wait for the season to start. And you know what? Yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting and very, very exciting for this season. Yeah.
Absolutely. You've actually done a couple of pit stop races yourself in your time. How is it actually trying to balance that strategy thing with trying to push for a decent pace in the race?
Oh, I think for me, it's you need to balance the performance that you have on tap when you actually do drive a car around versus the fact that you might have an advantage when the car is lighter. So, in order to balance and get that really quick. One might want to conserve tires in the beginning and really push it very hard towards the end of the stint. But always, always, there's the unknown X factor that, right? Because you never know that whenever things might happen, there could be an incident or, say, for example, you eked it out and you wanted to pit at, say, for example, lap 27, and there's just a huge incident that called out the safety car. Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a very difficult sort of experience to try and do that. Really trying to balance the need to try and go quick with the need to try and conserve tires. What do you think is going to be the dominant strategy? Because we've seen this before in a couple of 40-minute races where it really is the difference between going long for the first stint or should you go short for the first stint. Do you think there's going to be much difference in the strategy?
I'm not too sure to be honest. Well, I think it's always out there to play, right? But I guess the strategy would depend on where you're starting. I guess if you are in clear air where you can push, you might want a better fuel load versus tire to push in the beginning to basically create the gap. Or if you are starting mid pack or perhaps at the back, you may want to have a stronger or heavier fuel load so that you can go further into the race and have more strategic choices. Like we can see in the Formula One yesterday, whereby I think, in a way, Hamilton was very good. I mean, he's a driving maestro. The defensive driving was very good. What made it for him was the strategy used by Mercedes to basically had him undercut Verstappen and basically have the track position, right? So in our race as well, then it might be something that you want to do if you are starting in mid pack, perhaps fill it up, go long, and then maybe do a slightly earlier pit stop to have a cleaner and a new tire to push to the end, or perhaps go really long, do a quick splash and dash, and then try to finish. But that would, I guess, in a way, depend on where you start, right, Max?
Absolutely. So there's so many different things to think about, and it really pushes not only the drivers just pure driving skill like we did in the previous season, but also their ability to set the cars up. Because I think we can reveal this to the audience, but not only will the pros be on an open setup, but the amateurs will be as well this season. So that's going to be quite interesting to watch out for as well. So the technical ability to set the cars up or to test different setups that you can get. Because luckily with iRacing, there's a big community out there. You can usually get a few good tips when it comes to setups, and even a few setups there as well. Now we have finished over the course of our qualifying session there. 2 hours and 50 minutes have gone, and we'll have a quick look at the standings. Jaswin Jali, so close. 150.084 there in first place. He's an Auto House FCR driver, will hopefully be signing up for them this season. Ilham Plabi was quite close as well, only a tenth of a second behind in second place. Safa Arifin in third, followed by Iman Danish, Naif Chua, Kelvin Singh, Faiz Aslan, Afiq Fadlan, Muhammad Zikri up there in ninth place, and Tipko Ershad. Not quite enough time there to try and claim his free chicken.
Yes. And then followed up by Pakvinder Singh, Lloyd Lachlan, Surin Selvaraju, Azam Asmi, Afizul Jai, M Taki, Leong Mun Fai, and Miko Nasi round up the first 18 for tonight. And also Nazmi Mazli, Amir Nabil, Azman Abdullah, Malvinder Jit Singh, Kelvin Ha, Jasri Junos, Muhammad Riza Azmi, Tarmizi Yusuf, Shamir Aizan, Wanli Koi, Azrin Zul Bahrin, Muhammad Mazdi, and Fairuz Fazli. Round up. Fairuz, shout out to you there. What's up?
Absolutely. We have even more drivers out there slowly scrolling down. I think there was a mouse scroll wheel issue there from our studio director, Karo Alang. Shout outs to Karo Alang for holding down the broadcast throughout the course of this year and the last. Absolutely fantastic work there. Egan Juan there in 32nd place with Jeffrey in 33rd. Shami Azri in 34th. Muhammad Muhaimin in 35th. And Akid Pasarum in 36th place. More drivers will be out there trying to push for a good lap time. And I think we might see a pretty packed field this season, wouldn't we?
Oh yes, yes, and I look forward to that because I think the more the merrier. But also in this case, the more the merrier, the closer, the tighter, the more exciting racing that we get on screen, right? And I mean, after the drama that we had last season, after the action, the thrills, and the spills that happened last season, I just cannot wait for this one to start.
Absolutely. A whole new dimension with pit stops in the racing a la Super GT, 3 car models to choose from, as well as some legendary circuits out there. Absolutely fantastic, fantastic stuff all throughout the course of the season that we can look out for there. We're going to try and see if we could get a lap from Jazrin Jali, but looking there at the slow motion there, what a lap. It's really hard to try and break into the 149s. I know it's possible. We have seen it before, but absolutely brilliant, brilliant stuff indeed there from Jazrin Jali. So congratulations to our pole position man, or our provisional pole position man there, doing quite well for himself out there. Let's just have a quick look at the way he takes it. And the thing to note about him is that he's super smooth going through the track. I think, especially with the Porsche, you do have to have that traditional, classical, smooth driving style. Perhaps that's why it's so popular with the drivers as well.
Oh, trust me on that. Because, as they say, the Porsche has I mean, some of them would say that the Porsche has an advantage compared to the rest of the cars, right? But I guess it depends on the most important tool in the arsenal, which is not the tires, not the engine, not the wing, not even how the livery looks like or whatever other factors, including weather, but actually it's the driver. That guy sitting in the middle holding the wheel, that's one of the most important components there. And if you cannot master this car, which is quite tough, I might say, I mean, it doesn't really inspire confidence driving. It's a tough thing to drive, yeah, compared to, say, for example, the BMW or perhaps even the McLaren. But you know what? If you can make it work for you, good for you, and you will probably do a good lap time. As we see Jazrin Jelly just jumping right over the chicanes en route to the fastest lap of today, 1:50.084.
Indeed. So we have still a few questions left to answer before we wrap up. Well, before we wrap up qualifying at the end of the week, of course. Who is going to take over that top spot for Jazri Jali? Will Foster be able to hang on to that position? Will we see more challenges from BMW and McLaren head towards the top of the leaderboard? And of course, who is going to be the first and second to get that free fried chicken?
Yeah, so I guess that is it from us tonight. And in the words of the great, not sorry, I mean tributes to Murray Walker, who I hopefully rest in peace, but in co-commentator, the famed Mr. Max Palmer here. And in the words of Mr. Max Palmer, ta
Ta-ra.